everyone. Welcome to Culture of Gaming's Power Up Podcast, episode 30. Wow.
Yeah.
Rolled.
Hit another milestone. Awesome.
Yes.
I am your host, Taylor, and I am joined by Matt.
Hey.
All right. Kevin.
Hi.
And Andrew's returning from a wild party.
I'm back.
Yeah. You survived. You survived
Barely.
whatever you were doing.
Barely.
Just barely.
Yeah. Cabin in the woods. Dangerous out there, man.
All right.
Bears, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
All
just
right.
like the movie, right?
It's a good movie.
Was it? I never
It was a
I love it.
surprisingly good movie, to be honest.
All right, maybe I'll go check it out. All right, so Matt, you've been on the podcast quite a few times. People kind of know what you do here. Andrew,
Yep.
you're of course the regular, so people know what you do. But Kevin, you've only been on once before, but now you're
Right.
back. Welcome back, sir.
Back again.
Yeah. So
Thank
what
you.
do you do over at Culture of Gaming?
At Culture Gaming, I am pretty much a review writer because I mostly do reviews, but I do editorials here and there, but mostly reviews, like comic book reviews and video game reviews. I have a video game review going live today, hopefully, of Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop, which is a management sim game. So check out the website for that.
All right. Well, that answered my next question to you. Anyway, so we are of course with cultureofgaming.com. As I said in the intro, that is our main site where you can find all sorts of news, reviews, etc., everything related to gaming. There are tons of other places on the internet you can connect with us, the first of which being the Facebook community group. Okay, we have both a group for the main site as well as one dedicated to the podcast, as I'm informed.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And then, of course, our community Discord, which you can... there is a one-click invite link on our main site. So join that, and you'll be able to talk to everyone that you see on the podcast right now there. All right,
Yeah.
so that's awesome. And then Twitter, @cog.net, Instagram, Culture of Gaming, YouTube. If you search Culture of Gaming, you'll find us. We have a couple decent series on there. Anthony and Joel, who both have been on the podcast, of course, you know them. They do some online co-op with each other. They recently finished up their Torchlight 2 stuff. And then Andrew hunts Moby Dick.
Yeah, White Whaling. Episode should be going up Monday. I have it recorded. It's in the can. Just waiting on putting it out.
All right. And then Twitch, you can find, of course, this podcast here, occasionally Retro Rumble, whenever they decide to live stream, and streamers like Matt usually streaming Rainbow Six also, and we still host Battlefield for some reason. So whenever they're up, we're up also. Anyway, the audience, of course, can be asking us questions live as we are doing the show, whether it's through the Twitch chat or on our Twitter or even on our community Discord as we are doing the show. Pretty much anywhere where we can see your questions in real time, we'll look at them and answer them at some point near the end of the show. So let's just get right into our news topics for the day, leading off some gaming news. Andrew, what do you got for us?
All right, guys. Have you heard of The Calling? It's a video game.
Maybe. Yes.
I've
Yes.
heard of it. I have no
Yes.
idea what it is.
So the original Calling is like a survival game. You know, it's a rock stick, smashing the rocks into the wood, and you get stuff. But it's also got it had like a battle royale kind of thing to it. So we weren't just survival stuff. There was, from what I understand, I never played it.
Okay.
Is
I've
like,
never seen the first one, so.
yeah, it's like a battle royale with survival. So you're a lot of crafting, more so than H1Z1.
Mhm.
And stuff like that, right? So it was kind of like not a huge game, but it was definitely like it had an audience.
Yeah.
So the creators of this stuff game, like that, I am hard fought on who that actually did that.
Okay.
Pushed out The Calling 2 recently. I want to say early last week. Let me look here. Yeah, it looks like July 10th it released. So a little bit ago. So early this month, but basically the game peaked at like 249 players,
Okay.
and after like 2 weeks, it was down to like one player.
Wow.
Much like
Yeah.
Lawbreakers. No.
It wasn't as bad as Lawbreakers. This is way worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they decided to basically make a PUBG clone almost, I guess,
Okay.
is the issue. And yeah, but no one's playing this game, and now they're pulling The Calling 2, which came out this month,
Mhm.
pulling it from all the stores and giving refunds
Damn.
for their
Wow.
game. And they're actually pushing out, like, I guess the original Calling 1. They're re-releasing the Calling 1, and I think they're
Okay.
trying to re-support
Because
The,
that one did have a fairly solid following for a while, didn't it?
yeah, I want to say, let's see, the original Calling had an all-time peak of 12,000, over 12,000 users. So
That's not
yeah.
bad.
not terrible. It's definitely like a small amount of people, but enough to keep a game,
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just thought it was insane that these guys released this game within a month. They've decided, and they actually got out on Twitter and said they want to apologize. They apologized for their game because
Was it really that bad, or is it just one of those things
I-
where it wasn't
I-
drawing people in?
I want to. Okay.
I read an article about this because I was actually interested in the story of what was happening with the Calling 2. Never
Okay.
heard of it, but I just read the story. Apparently, what had happened was the game was in the Steam's workshop, where you can have games up there, and if they become popular, they come into full games, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like Dead Cells recently just came out of its beta. I don't know the terminology for the Steam. I'm not really on there that much.
The Steam
But
Greenlight system and
There
all
you
that.
go. Exactly. So they finished and they released their 1.0, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, apparently what happened with the Calling 1 was that it came out originally, people loved it. But when an artist tweaks too much of their work, that it kind of loses what made it special the first time.
Mhm.
Kind of like the George Lucas effect, where
no.
with the special editions.
Oh no.
Kind of a similar story happened with the Calling 1, where they had added so many things that the community didn't necessarily want, but the creators wanted in the game. So when the game fully came out to 1.0, it just became a sequel. They just called it the Calling 2.
Oh, really?
People kind of got pissed because it wasn't the same game that people had fallen in love with. And so they had apologized, like exactly how Andrew said. They apologized. They're going back to basics. They're going to listen to their community and not just do random updates and, be able to work with the community on how the Calling should be progressed here on out.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw. Yeah, it's a pretty wild story, but have you guys ever heard of a story where a game just fully changes and the developer just goes way back on it?
Yeah.
Not the going way back.
Yeah, not off the top of my head. I can't think
Oh.
of any other.
Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
okay. To be fair, it's like they
that's
kind of
closer.
iterated on top of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
That's the thing.
Like-
This more seems like a regression.
That
if
is true
anything.
because
Yeah.
because you're right, because they improved on it. They didn't go back to it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
because
right.
the big update for Final Fantasy 14 was a Realm Reborn, or what have you, right? And it was
Right,
just
right.
like, yeah,
Oh,
this is
right.
this is the massive worldwide improvement to our mediocre game.
I guess not a big change, but a kind of a smaller thing that is similar to the Calling 2 situation would be with Call of Duty. How a lot of people didn't like the sci-fi jets flying
Yeah.
and stuff of the game, and they started going back more to boots on the ground type of gameplay.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
This is really interesting. It's like
Yeah.
I don't want to say I've never seen a developer just hit the abort button on a game, but
Yeah.
This is definitely a rare occasion where it's hit that hard, though.
yeah, it's like I don't think I've ever seen it hit that hard. It's just like I guess maybe the most comparable thing would be the Arkham Knight PC launch, where it was like after 2 days, Warner Brothers pulled it from the store.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah.
But did
That
they
was
ever fix
right.
any of the issues?
No.
or-
No, not
So,
that I
They
know.
never-
it's
they
half
never
the
released
story
it.
than it is here.
Okay,
Yeah. They just completely abandoned it. They never brought it out again. They just
Oh,
they just
man.
let it die.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
This brings me to another point. Do you guys think because is there more room for these battle royale games, or kind of we've hit critical mass with the two big ones?
The Calling,
got-
the original one's been out for a while, hasn't it?
2016 was when they.
So yeah, it's been there for a while. I know I've watched videos of it way back,
Mhm.
back then as well. It has a place in it. There's not as common type of things, but I think there definitely is running out of room. I mean, you see PUBG's dropping off
Mhm.
quite a bit. Isle of Nine
Right.
is also gaining steam right now
Yeah.
because it's a quicker pace type of battle royale.
Oh, okay.
But I
Uh,
mean, we'll see if the bubble bursts. But
I think it's kind of interesting because I think the battle royale genre can be compared to the survival crafting genre right now,
Mhm.
where it's like
Right.
there will be countless of these sorts of games or whatever, but it's whatever ones to provide the most unique or fun take on it, sort of thing, will end up surviving and continuing forward. You know, it's
and not all of them have to have big followings. You can make a game that is supported by a couple hundred of people, as long as there are people who pay money and are able to support the game. You're still able to have those those communities thrive.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, Ark, which I'm told is still fairly popular. Survival Evolved
Yes.
is still fairly
Oh
popular.
yeah, Ark
you
is
know.
still fairly popular.
Had to
Conan
launch,
Exiles.
Yeah, had to launch
Minecraft
and
is still
survive in a
surprisingly
world
big.
with Minecraft and Rust and everything. So it's like, it's
Yeah.
definitely doable. I don't think we're at like a bursting point for battle royales. I just think that
We're running out of room of creativity.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I just don't think there's anything down the pipe besides Isle of Nines that I forget which one of you mentioned it. It's like, I don't
Good
think there's
point.
like any unique upcoming battle royale that'll really be able to survive. So we're gonna see like a lot of them launch, then kind of die off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since the video game industry is such a reactionary market, so whatever's popular, it's a massive hit. Then you try to bank on it, burn it out, and then move on to the next thing. Remember when Toys to Life was a thing? How many
Yeah,
of
that's
them
right.
were around, and then suddenly there's none of them left now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But like, Minecraft never isn't gone. Like,
No.
people,
Oh, yeah.
we talk
Oh,
about
no,
Minecraft.
It's still strong. in
Well, I mean, there
every
was
regard.
definitely,
They
like,
pushed
a-
updates out.
There was
pretty hard.
definitely with like Minecraft, there was definitely like a peak noticeable popularity
Oh.
boom, and it's like you could definitely tell when it's at its height. And it's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
it's like you look at it now. I'm not gonna say Minecraft isn't huge, like it's still immensely huge. Don't get me wrong, but it's certainly not as popular as it once was.
Oh yeah, totally.
I find it interesting because a lot of people also, like mainly the YouTubers who did all the Minecraft stuff back then,
Mhm.
have turned away from it and seen it as like a very like it disgusts them now in a sense because they look back and just see that it was pure, it was just cringe. It's like, I mean, it's still a game that you enjoyed and featured like
Right.
prominently throughout your life for a good chunk of it. So
Mhm.
Yes,
I know a lot of
just
I-
can't throw it away like that.
Yeah, do it, Kevin.
I know a lot of prominent YouTubers that said that they were pretty much chasing the money. They would make Minecraft videos in order to get the views and get the ad revenue from it, but they didn't necessarily like the game. But it's part of like YouTube life. Whether you're making content for yourself and your audience, or making content just to be able to cash in on whatever's popular at the moment.
That's fair.
I think also a lot of the YouTubers fell into the trap of like their entire following got centered around Minecraft or what have you, right? So they wanted to switch to something else because they got burned out in Minecraft. I mean, burnout happens to anyone. It
Yeah,
really
of course.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like when they want to switch and make new content for new videos, it's not going to provide them, the living that they need or that they've adjusted to, just because, it's like their entire audience was built up around Minecraft. They watch your channel to see Minecraft stuff.
Mhm.
When you start playing, like, I don't know, Counter-Strike or whatever, it's like, oh, hello, camera. Thank you. Yeah, it's like when you start playing Counter-Strike, obviously, it's like you're going to lose a significant portion of your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like if you're not producing enough Minecraft content or whatever, if that's what you built yourself up on, then you can expect to lose it. Also, that's the thing. You can expect to lose the same audience. So, all right, that's my thoughts. But yeah, so the Crawling 2 got, just
Absolutely destroyed.
Yeah,
it's
just shelved.
just unheard of. It's wild.
like even the
That's it.
Lawbreakers survived, only peaking like 49 people, but they were around for a couple months, weren't they? At least.
Yeah.
They
Hey.
were around for a while. They tried doing some esports stuff as well, but there was one character that was, in my opinion, was kind of broken
Okay.
for that type of stuff because the objective points that you have to capture,
Yeah.
sometimes they're in really tight areas with
Okay.
really small entry points.
Yeah.
And there was this person that could put down a shield, and sometimes the shield can fill up the entire hallway.
Oh man.
It was just like, you gotta,
Oh man.
why?
Yeah.
How did that make it into like a game, like into a live build game? Like, did no one testing it be like, "Hey, I can exploit the hell out of this objective room with the shield"? No, it doesn't happen.
I don't know. They're having too much fun flying around, I guess.
Okay. Does QA even exist anymore? I don't know.
Barely.
Well, yeah, it's called early access. Have everyone do it for you. All the players do it for you.
Yeah, fair enough.
True.
All
There
right.
weren't enough players to QA it.
Oh, that brings up hilarious. All right, I watched a little bit of that PUBG Invitational.
Oh yeah, that's
yesterday.
going on. Okay.
So
Did it?
Shroud he is a very popular streamer, and I'm sure. If you've
Oh
heard of
yeah,
him.
Yeah.
Shroud
Yeah.
is an amazing PUBG
I
player.
know
He's
him
very
as a
good at the
Counter-Strike
game.
player.
He's also was a Counter-Strike
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
But this just makes me laugh at the state of this game because this guy tosses his grenade. I implore everyone to look at this clip if they find it.
Okay.
Tosses grenade up, like up a building or whatever. It bounces perfectly, lands like right next to this dude who's reviving his like teammate.
Yeah.
Explodes. No, nobody dies.
What?
It was insane. You have to watch it. It's just laughable.
I'd be tilted.
Is it like-
I would be
Is it like
tilted.
no damage was applied, or the?
I don't know if any damage is applied. It's hard. It's like it's all in spectator mode. So I don't know
Oh,
if you
okay.
can see the life bar.
But they didn't go down regardless,
Yeah.
even though it was in his lap.
Yeah.
It was like basically like one guy here, one guy here. It was like
Oh, wow.
Like
Okay.
they made a
3
sandwich pretty much.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
it was bad, dude. I was like, oh, this is not a good look for the game. Even the commentators were like, well, and they just started laughing. They're like, well, PUBG, I hope you're watching because
We got
that
PUBG'd.
was pretty bad.
Yeah, that reminds me of a couple things. Well, actually, slightly related to like the invitational. Brendan Drain, player unknown, or whatever, you know, the big life figurehead. Didn't he come out and say at this invitational that's like, yeah, our game is not esports ready, at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was for this invitational, but it was
Okay.
a while back.
I'm not a PUBG follower, so I
Okay.
wouldn't know.
It's like I think I remember reading that the other night. But and then it's also I remember when like there was I don't want to say a scandal, but there was a little bit of an uproar a couple of years ago in the League of Legends esports scene or whatever, when it's like whenever a bug could be found during a live match or whatever that that impacted something or what have you,
Yeah.
the commentators who would previously mention it or whatever and be like Riot please Fitz or whatever, they've got like a soft cease and desist almost, be like, hey, new policy from Riot at Riot sponsored events, which is all of them now,
Yeah.
is just like it's like, hey, it's like don't mention it type thing. So it's like they're not allowed to mention buds.
That's pretty gross.
Dumb.
Yeah, so that's the League of Legends esports scene. What a joke.
God, we call it out all the time in CS:GO.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of like League of Legends like commercials lately.
Yeah.
It's really odd for. Sorry, that's a rant tangent. But
No, it's fine. All right. So Kevin, the next generation. Do you want to know what will not be making it to the next generation? The trolling
Yeah.
too. But you know what?
No.
What will be making it? A new Xbox console. So, what do we got?
Okay, so you know how it's a new console generation coming up when you start seeing job listings, code names for projects,
Oh, yeah.
etc., all that stuff. Well, this year is starting to become that year. We know that the next Xbox that they had announced in E3 that they were going to work on the next generation of Xbox consoles. Now we know the code name for it based on the article that we have in the show notes.
Okay.
You can look it up. It's going to be the code name for that Xbox is Scarlet. So I'm just gonna call it Xbox Scarlet for now. Just
Yeah.
that
That
way
was
it's just
announced
easier
at
for the
E3, wasn't
conversation.
it?
Yes.
Okay.
So what the rumors have come out now is saying about the Xbox Scarlet that it's going to be a two-tiered system of devices. You're going to have two consoles.
Okay.
Your standard $400 to $500 console that's going to have all the bells and whistles, stronger GPU, all that stuff, right, in order to run 4K, 4K games natively and all that stuff.
Sure.
But what the interesting part is that the lower tiered console, they're aiming for somewhere around $100 to $200, is going to be an entirely gaming streaming box. Now, Microsoft is going to try to be able to develop Scarlet Cloud so that you could stream games in the same vein as PlayStation Now, where you don't need to have a console with a powerful GPU, RAM, all that stuff. It's going to stream everything through that device. And it's going to be a much cheaper tier and be able to play games, obviously, through their streaming services, which we know they have Xbox Game Pass for $10 a month. And all their first-party games are on Xbox Game Pass. So what do you guys think? I mean, that's pretty crazy. They're
All
really
right,
going to...
So, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm a little bit confused at a couple things. All right, so I get that. I get the first part, right? So it's like just your normal $400, $500 console, where it's just like, say, a PS4 in the background or Xbox One in the background, right? All right. What? So, but the second thing you mentioned, like the $100, $200 thing, a game streaming bot. So is this going to be something like an NVIDIA Shield thing? Or is it more of like Microsoft is going to be streaming the game directly to the bots and it's basically going to do a lot of the processing power on its server? But
Yes,
so it's basically
it's exactly that.
all right, so it's basically going to be a cloud server doing the processing and then streaming it to this little bots here. And you're going to
Yes.
play games like that.
And apparently, the rumors are that they're working on the infrastructure to reduce latency. Obviously, it's a video game. Some games need to have almost no latency. We already have problems with input lag just on televisions regularly, right? So they're trying to work around that. I know Microsoft is a very software-heavy company. I can believe they can do it,
Yeah.
But it's super interesting that that's their next goal for the next console generation,
Yeah.
because they have said before they would want to have a Netflix style of service on the coming years.
Mhm.
And if they can corner that market now, that's pretty huge, because look what Netflix did to everything else in its wake, to
Yeah.
Blockbuster, to every mom and pop video store.
Mhm.
They completely killed them. You know, like
Yeah.
that's pretty huge. So
Like Xbox has the business infrastructure to be able to do this already in place
Exactly.
with the Game Pass, as you mentioned. So before we get into the big discussion about this, Matt, when we were at CES in 2017, remember Nvidia tried something similar to this, and we tried it
Nvidia
out.
Shield.
Yeah,
Yep.
we tried it out. It
was not
was not
the
good.
best.
Yeah, it was not great. I'll say it. You know.
They were running 5G internet speeds there. It still sucked.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it was like it's like Nvidia tried a similar, like, if I'm understanding everything correctly, Nvidia tried a similar thing a couple of years ago, you know, where it's like their server farm would compute everything and then stream it to you or whatever. And yeah, they had that running at CES, and we tried to demo. It wasn't great. So I will say that, but I may be optimistic about Microsoft pulling this off. Andrew, what do you think?
Oh man, it's so dependent on internet, and the internet in the United States is not great
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt that they can pull this off. I mean, it's Microsoft; they got the Bill Gates money and all that good stuff. But like, maybe for me it might work okay, and
Right.
maybe for someone in Kansas or wherever is Midwest, it's not going to work at all.
Yeah.
But I think that's smart that they're releasing a two-tier system rollout. For some
Yeah.
people who do have good internet, they're able to buy a streaming box and frankly save a lot of money. When the internet and power goes down, you're pretty much out of luck.
Yeah,
You gotta go read
yeah.
a book or something, or play on a Nintendo Switch. But for everyone else who doesn't have reliable internet, you still have the option to buy the higher tiered console, the normal price console.
Yeah.
So it kind of shows you that they're not going all full in on this concept, but they are testing the waters, and then I think they released both. You're able to appease both crowds. I think that's great.
I guess it also depends on how much they're charging per month.
Yeah. That's,
like,
that's
Game-
one of my big questions.
yeah, the Game Pass
I'd
is
imagine
what,
be like 15.
10. It's
Right
I
now
mean,
it's 10.
Game Pass is 10, but you're downloading those from a server. You're not streaming those constantly.
Yeah.
Which brings up another point with data caps and stuff like that. A lot of people have data caps.
Yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
If you're streaming videos on, movies on top of your, your games, and you're streaming Twitch, you're streaming whatever, they're gonna just chew. I assume video games will chew way more than a movie would.
It does, yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so
Because if they want to do it with a high tier of quality, they will keep the compression to a minimum.
Right.
sure, right, yeah, and you're
Just
gonna
the raw footage of that is going to be skyrocketing compared to YouTube or
Yeah.
Netflix or something like
and
that.
you're gonna see the changes. You're gonna be playing your game, and all of a sudden, like, oh, it's starting to get a little blurry, and it's back. Definitely not the optimal way,
Yeah.
but it is an interesting concept. It's like On Life. If you guys remember On Life, that's
Oh, yeah,
like
that's right.
years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Like that, they tried something like that, and it just did not work great. I mean, unfortunately, but now it's years later. Maybe it'll work this time around.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, technology
my-
evolves so fast.
Right.
My big question is, what's the current market like though? Is it sizable enough for them to be able to enter in and actually get ground in it?
Mm-hmm.
Like how big is this market is my question.
I think Andrew brought up like sort of a counter to that already, or not really a counter, but like this limiter and that factor would be the average internet infrastructure in the United States household. It's
Yeah.
on average
It's not
it's
great.
not stellar.
Yeah.
It's getting
Only
there.
if you live near metropolitan areas, you're gonna have reliable internet. But if you live out there in the suburbs and other local rural places, it's gonna be hard for you to be able to get internet and be able to run something like that.
Right. Exactly.
And
Hmm.
I just don't see it being successful as of the moment.
Oh,
Yeah,
One thing that you guys have brought up about the data caps, I'm not fully understand the whole FCC regulation over the internet and ISPs, but I know that based on the rulings that they had recently given, businesses could give themselves more bandwidth or etc. by working out some kind of deal with their ISP.
yeah.
What if Xbox does a deal with whatever ISPs are popular and be like, hey, you know what, we're going to stream our games. Please do not, apply data cap limits to our customers that have these games.
Yeah,
That-
could happen.
that's
is
a
possible. There is
possibility.
precedent.
But
Yeah.
then you have to renegotiate all the contracts with everybody that has a data cap, and that's a lot of time and a lot of money right there.
Yeah.
Of course. And then this could be another PSVR situation where PlayStation is supporting it, but it wasn't the full force console launch that they had mentioned in the first year
Yeah.
when they were going to be all in on PSVR. And
Yeah.
there is interest there, but the market isn't big enough yet to support it. And to be honest, they're still working out the kinks, like how game developers going to create games for these things, because you need to think in a completely different way. You can't just create a normal game in VR. You need to be able to take several things into consideration, like space, motion, all that stuff.
Right.
Have you guys fiddled with PlayStation Now at all?
No.
No.
A little bit, yeah.
I tried it out, and sometimes it works.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, this is fine. I'm playing a fighting game on it. I'm like, okay.
All right,
sure.
cool. Yeah.
And then other times it's like bad.
Right.
And this is with like good internet, Ethernet port plugged in.
Because not
yeah.
only is of course your internet a factor, but it's also up to the servers itself also, because there are two parties to every connection, unless someone
And
tries
then-
to. But anyway, yeah.
You can get further into it, like what are they only gonna put Microsoft games on it? Are EA gonna want to sign on it? Or is Ubisoft gonna sign on it? Like
Exactly.
what are we gonna put on this thing? So if it's just Microsoft games, maybe not. But
Yeah.
Well, Andrew says
But Game Pass does have other stuff too, so they've gotten something.
Game Pass is growing slowly, but it's still growing.
And
Yeah,
part of me kind of likes the Game Pass model, and then the other part of me kind of doesn't, because I don't know. I think it's really dependent on the library of games that they're coming. Because we've seen EA adopt a similar model or option for getting their games and whatnot. It's you know what, EA puts out a decent amount of games every year or whatever, and it's I'll probably want to play them at least, so it's maybe I'll invest in the EA Pass, but it's Microsoft not really offering all that much that I'm interested in, so I'll buy the occasional Microsoft game that I want. But yeah,
that's my only fear for the future when it comes to games and different platforms, is the segmentation of what's available in content. What's happening right now with streaming services for video on demand content.
Mm-hmm.
You have your Netflix, you have your Hulu, now you have your DC Universe Access, then you have your CBS All Access for that Star Trek show, and people are not going to sign up for all that. People are going to stick to whatever models they want. I don't want that for games, to be honest. I don't want to have an EA subscription, a Ubisoft subscription, a Nintendo subscription, an Xbox, PlayStation subscriptions, because otherwise you're going to be paying even way more money than you were initially, just pick and choosing what games you wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
It's subscription fatigue.
I just canceled one of my subscriptions. Too many subscriptions. Get rid of Hulu. We don't even use it. We just had it just because it's there. Now it's one of those things.
It's I canceled my Netflix subscription actually. It's my personal one actually. I still hijack my parents' account, but it's I canceled my personal one because it's I mostly watch stuff on. It's to me Hulu has more of the stuff I want to watch on it.
Sure.
Right.
And it's and then so does Verve, which is Crunchyroll and Funimation. So it's those are. So they cut that out. So subscription fatigue is definitely a decent factor in it. And then
it's kind of like launchers, right? All the launchers you have on your PC.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We got one for everything nowadays, and it's man, I understand why they exist, but
at least to be fair, Ubisoft is pretty good about putting their games on Steam now. There was a time when it's all their games would be on Steam and Uplay, and then there was a gap where it's only on Uplay, and now everyth's back to Steam and Uplay.
Yeah.
It'll still launch the Uplay, but at least it's you still only have to go through one program to flip through stuff.
The hardest part about this always to me when it's comparing to Netflix or Hulu is I could watch a series once on Netflix or Hulu or Verve, and I'm done with that. But with video games, I would always want to go back to video games. So if Netflix ended tomorrow, I was okay, whatever. I've seen what I've wanted to see. Yeah. But if it's Ubisoft shut down their stuff and I couldn't access it tomorrow, that's gonna hurt because I love playing a lot of their games.
Yeah, that would suck.
If EA closed down, that's gonna suck because there goes all my Battlefield stuff.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's that's why I love having the physical stuff.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the streaming stuff as well. Say my internet goes out for 2 days and they can't come till then to fix it. Well, at least I have that stuff on my Switch or my PC saved to it. I don't have to have internet for.
Now, out of curiosity, would the $500 model, let's just call it the traditional home
Yeah,
console.
let's call it
model.
traditional.
Yeah, like the traditional home console model of this console. Would it? That was redundant. Would it also be capable of? I assume it'd also be capable of being using the stream service, because like I would hate for it to lock out. It's like I spent the extra $300.
It's a good question. I don't know if
That's
they
a good
mentioned
question.
that.
I'm pretty sure
like,
they would.
Because then it's like, then what you could do is you can move. So it's like with the Game Pass stuff, you can make it so that the console doesn't have to download stuff. It only has to stream stuff, and it doesn't have to take up long-term storage on the console itself. Because they
Right.
do that. Also, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder about
Okay, so this one says both. The article that I have to be reading says that
So
Okay.
both of them would have
both
that.
of
Okay.
meaning both consoles will be first class citizens. They're expected to be awkward. This game only runs the non-cloud Scarlet.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
a terrible sentence, but yeah.
I think we see what they're trying to do there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still kind of find it kind of weird as they would launch it right next to their flagship type thing, because it's such an experimental concept still.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like if they like make this one of their main features as their next big conference,
Yeah.
like maybe like an E3 or something like that, I don't know, PAX West or whatever, that would be kind of weird to see, in my opinion. You could display it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Oh, this is what it does. This is how it works. But I can't see them pushing it as hard as for the market that's currently available.
Yeah.
Or were they the main selling point for it would be that games would be cheaper. You wouldn't have to pay $60 a pop. You would have a subscription model. The console, the streaming box itself will be $200-$300, much less than what the streaming box is being sold for. So there's a value of money there.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
there's
of
a
value
value
that.
of money.
So
Yeah.
I know that could be a main selling point for their marketing, but explaining that to a regular customer base for mainstream audiences, that might be a little hard to explain. Hey, this one only streams, but plays your games. Like wait. So which one plays your? You know what I'm saying? Like the
Right. This might be a
message
little
could
bit
be
difficult
muddled.
to convey. Yeah.
I think they're gonna have to separate it and make it more distinct.
I'm gonna sound like a jerk here, but like if you're paying for internet, like good internet, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna be able to buy the good,
The 500,
like the
you
normal
could probably
traditional-
afford-
traditional console.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you can shell out the $130 per month it is for like a fiber connection with no data cap.
Yeah.
You're probably in a decent state of being to be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for it being such an experimental thing, like I don't know, people who like to play games are going to take the jump on it right away. They're going to sit and I think and wait. This
Yeah.
might be one of those things where like, hey, this thing is pretty cool. Like maybe it's my second console somewhere else, or something like that.
Like maybe I bring this over to my, like, say I'm going to my brother's for like a week, because I'll bring that. It's
Yeah.
not as large and as
Well-
expensive as the alternative.
Or,
I want to say for like the last decade, we've seen a lot of experiments being tried in the gaming space.
Yeah.
The Steam boxes, like they didn't work out. Xbox, the original Xbox One's original concept of an always online console didn't work out either. We
I
stayed
do
to
know-
a really regular console basis.
My argument to it's like the Xbox Always Online thing was that it was paired with an Always On Connect, which
Yeah.
Right.
That's creepy.
which
The only thing
I
that's
think that was
worked
the
out
creepy part.
recently,
Yeah.
other than the PSVR, I mean, you could say that's like a half success. Like there are people out there playing, and there is an install base, but it's not as big as they would
It-
want it to be.
The
But-
hard comparison with that is the PSVR is an addition to the PS4.
Exactly.
That's it's not a separate entity by itself.
And honestly,
It's a more of a luxury item, I guess.
exactly. And the only success I've seen from when it comes to technology and changing the way you play and all that stuff is a Nintendo Switch, to be honest. Something you could take on the go and also play on your TV. Like that's
Nintendo is always experimental.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty big change, but a small enough change that makes a difference. If it's not a dramatic change, but it is a nice feature, and that is a good selling point for it.
Right. And it's like also, the Switch's like whole shtick and everything was so much more easier to convey than like
Than
the
the
Wii
Wii U.
U's.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
isn't the Wii U just like a bootleg Switch? Like
It's
it's just like we're
It's
kind
like
of
if you
there,
take
but we're
the
not.
Wii and if you take the Wii and the Switch and like make a baby with them.
Yeah, they're
Right,
just
the
like,
Wii
I
U.
got this.
God.
I got this like
Yeah.
play thing of a controller.
And how
I've
did the
got-
Switch come to be? Anyway.
Right.
All right.
It's his brother, but your uncle.
Yeah,
at the
my
same
last
time.
question to pose to this discussion: would we much rather have seen Xbox say like, what we're gonna do is like we're gonna have like the $200 to $300 normal console and then like the $500 to $600 Pro version at launch or whatever? Would we much rather seen that model, or do you think we only got the Pro models of stuff this generation because of the rise and adoption of 4K displays? Or what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Mm,
So I think the current past stuff, the Pro models and the higher tier stuff like that, has been the push for 4K.
Yeah,
I mean, they're trying really hard to make that the norm.
yeah,
Luckily, prices are falling for 4K TV, so that is a possibility. For
Mhm.
like, I plan my next TV I get will be a 4K TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, all TVs at Target, Walmart, all your
Yeah.
big chains, they're all 4K now. You cannot buy a
Yep.
1080 display anymore.
slowly
Yeah.
becoming the standard, which is
Yeah,
which I like
exactly.
to see. I was a very early adopter of 4K, so I'm glad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So like that, I think that was the big push for that. I don't necessarily them doing another Pro line necessarily, just make another strong console. I
Okay.
think that's all they have to do.
All right, so you think basically that 4K has been adopted enough, it's more or less the standard now, that, you know, the console...
It's
the
taken
next,
enough space
yeah,
for it.
the
Yeah.
next generation launching just needs to be capable of 4K, and there will be no need for Pro.
Yeah. I don't see AK for a while.
Yeah.
There should be no need for that.
Yeah.
Andrew, what are you thinking?
I mean, I just thought, this sounds like a good idea, right? I just thought about this. So theoretically, if, most of the work is being done server side, you would never really have to buy a new console, right? Because
No.
you got your 1080s, your 1180s, your 1280s, your whatever. It's doing all the work for you somewhere else, right? And you're just streaming to
Right.
this box.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
a big
So-
part of their messaging is to try to get more games on more devices. That devices could even extend to tablets and phones too with a controller. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what they're aiming for. They're aiming to become a service rather than to be not to necessarily say that they want to get out of the console game, but I think like 20, 30, 40 years down the line, I could see them become a service, become something where this is the location you play, and you can play it
Sure.
on anything. You can play it on your TV, you can play it on your tablet, on your phone, on a
Yeah.
console, on your computer, things like
Yeah.
that.
I just hope tablets and phones are strong enough by that point.
Right?
Yeah, kind
Pretty
of
strong nowadays, but yeah.
I mean, the closest we've had is the Razer phone
Mm.
so far,
Yeah, or the ROG phone.
or the ROG phone. Yeah.
Kind of speaking of, do we think Xbox could be trying to go for like a streaming bots in every room of your house type thing with this? Because we know it's like one of the things that Nintendo has said. It was like, well, it's like one of our failures with marketing the Switch has been that it's like it came off more as a one per household console instead of a one per person console like the 3DS like we want it
Right.
to be. No, seriously, it's like that's what they
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
just,
so it's like, do you think maybe Xbox could be going for like we want an Xbox streaming bots in every room of your house type thing? It's like, I have an Xbox in my bedroom. I have
Sure.
an Xbox in my living room. I
Mhm.
have one in the bathroom. All for the price.
Possible,
Yeah,
yeah.
all for the price of one like dedicated console.
Well, I say the hard part with the Switch is you can transfer it from dock to dock. So if you want to
Yeah.
take it from your living room, hey, your parents want to watch TV out there. All right, I'll bring it to my room, put it in the other dock, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Issues with that though is like your profile's locked to the.
No,
Right.
he just means like a dock type thing. So it's like,
Just the dock itself.
Oh,
you
I
can pick
see.
up the Switch and move it to the other dock.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like such a easier alternative necessarily. I mean, there are not enough households with enough gamers to make it more than one per household.
Okay.
I don't even play Switch on my TV, to be honest. I just pull it out of the dock.
Same.
Yeah.
I
so-
like playing on the TV depending on what I'm doing.
Anyway,
All right. Anyway, wow, that was great discussion there, guys. So, Matt,
Yeah.
why don't you continue? Epic Games is making some epic revenue, and well, there goes our overlay.
internet.
Oh, there it is.
hey.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. We're all good.
It's not nearly as deep of a concept as the past three, so I'll just say it straight up.
Sorry.
Epic Games is now worth $8 billion.
That is some epic revenue.
Roughly, right? It's like 5 to 8 or something like
Yeah,
that.
5 to 8 roughly. Some
That's a really
economists
huge
estimate
stretch.
they. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm-
Some economists estimate they can sell the Epic Games as a whole for 14 billion.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it depends on how much
And then
faith you
get
have in the
out
growth of Fortnite, to be honest.
They were saying even if Fortnite faded to half of what they're currently doing, it would still be worth 7.5 billion as a
Mhm.
whole.
Okay. Wow.
And this includes Unreal Engine, every other game, and all the licensing that goes with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
To give you an idea of how strong they've come just the past couple of years, in 2012 they were just under $850 million as a total.
Wow.
And Fortnite is on track to make $2 billion this year.
I think it's very well deserved. So, I mean,
Yeah, like they're killing it in that regard. You gotta give them credit for that.
Like, as much as I personally don't like to play, Fortnite and whatnot, it's like, gotta give
Their
credit where credit
business
is
model
due.
is
It's like,
killing it.
it's a solid product. People enjoy it, I understand why they enjoy it. It's just not for me. But
yeah, I've been playing a little bit lately,
Okay.
and I'm enjoying it. It's like, they got new things all the time, and
They definitely change it up enough to keep it fresh.
yeah, and I was talking with a smaller indie developer recently, and we had a little conversation. He's like, dude, they're doing it perfect. They're slowly but surely, always new content. It's
Right.
something
A
fresh.
good steady stream of content.
They're changing big things up, but not too big occasionally, every 90 days or whatever their
And
seasons
they're
are.
keeping it relevant with stuff outside of the game as well. Like the Thanos event. That was a really smart move on their part.
Yeah,
that was ridiculous to see, honestly. Just like, wow, we have Disney.
Yeah.
The amount of
In this
Thanos
game.
dabbing was hilarious.
Yeah.
yeah, and like how they've kind of created their own
Culture.
maybe I was gonna say like how the game is really coming. Like when you first saw that game, it was kind of generic. There was like generic soldier, generic looking stuff. Now they've really kind of like came into their own. Their personality it's got a real personality now.
Yeah.
Which is fun. Like I like I'm watching these little dances. And the animations look great, and everything looks. I'm just like, dude.
I know for me, I like playing Fortnite with friends, but I wouldn't play necessarily with myself. But this is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a battle royale game that is good. Good as in not PUBG buggy,
Sure.
but not required to build stuff. Because honestly, I'm terrible at building. So if you have a battle royale where you're able to shoot stuff as the main way of winning.
Yeah, they just nerfed the building actually a little bit. So
I think the Isle on 9 is something closest like that.
Yeah.
They
I'll check
don't
it out.
have building in it, but it's really fast-paced shooter style.
Okay,
I would play a lot more Fortnite if basically if I was aiming at the guy's head and an RNG didn't determine whether or not I actually hit the head in the end anyway. Or two, if the appropriate reaction when you're getting shot is to not turn around and shoot the guy back, but build a wall.
Right.
Yeah. Then it's like
It's the different type of tactics. You can turn around and shoot them, but that's a lot harder. You can build a wall and buy yourself.
Which I said
time.
it's like the preferable strategy is to build a wall as opposed to shooting back. Yeah.
That's something
Man.
hard to transfer into after playing other types of FPSs and other battle royales.
Tell me about it. I've been trying to play on PC. It's been going rough. Switch.
Yeah.
Everyone sucks on the Switch, so it's easy to
everyone's
get
a scrub on the Switch.
But but on
Plug a
PC,
keyboard and mouse, and you're good to go.
Oh no.
I just finally set up all my key binds and stuff. So I'm I'm getting all
You're getting into it.
professional.
You're getting into
I'm
it.
trying a little bit now instead of fumbling around with my. I'm not
Yeah.
great on the. I'm not great with the keyboard still. So
Yeah.
But
Trying to
fumbling,
improve. That's always the
yeah,
important
man,
part.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's cool that I've been playing with some friends and it's nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So yeah, very well deserved $8 billion.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my new story that I'm bringing up, Nintendo has filed lawsuits against 2 ROM distribution sites to the tune
Not
of
a
damages
surprise.
of $150,000 per ROM distributed
Wow.
on the site.
Damn, that is a lot.
And some of those sites have almost all their games.
I'm sorry, not distributed, cataloged on the site.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cataloged
that's-
on the site. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot more fair, but
Still,
that's
damn.
that's still a
Damn,
lot.
that's still a lot.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of games and a lot of money.
Does
Yeah,
that
it is.
include games that they themselves didn't publish, like Capcom
Yes.
games?
Yes.
Oh, it does. Wow. Yeah,
And the
that's
reason-
a lot of money.
And the reason why this is a lawsuit is because basically these sites, it's not like certain other ROM acquisition sites. These sites were charging people for the
Yeah.
ROMs, so they were
Oh,
effectively
wow.
profiting
Okay.
off Nintendo's own intellectual property, which is why
Right.
these 2 sites got targeted in
Yeah.
particular.
That makes a lot more sense.
And
yeah.
so
They were like,
Nintendo-
"Hey, throw us a couple dollars if you want," kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, we see
Yeah.
you got like Dolphin emulator on your computer. Well, go ahead and toss us, like $40 for the Wii U copy or the Wii U ROM that you can play
Right.
on Dolphin emulator or for Breath of the Wild. And yeah, we're.
Do you have to pay for the Dolphin emulator games?
No, you don't.
I don't
No.
think.
Okay.
It depends
I
on
was-
where you go.
Okay, so it depends on where you buy the ROM in particular.
Yeah, these two sites in particular marketed it as it's like, it's more ethical to pay for it type thing or whatever.
It's
type
more
thing.
ethical to pay for it as long as you pay the publisher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was just yeah.
And Nintendo's super protective over their copyrights and their games. I mean,
Oh yeah.
whether they even if the game is free, they're still gonna shut it down. Look at Pokemon Uranium. Look at that Metroid 2 remake that a fan was making. Those guys shut down. They weren't being sold or anything, but
Right.
they still gotta protect those IPs.
To be fair, I think AM2R only got taken down because Samus Returns was in the pipe.
I was about to
And
say the
Yeah.
same thing. They were a
Yeah.
little bit more justified with that one.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was coming out around the same time. You can't have that message out there.
Yeah.
They still have the Nintendo seal of approval on every game they publish. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
it's not just a mark to be there. It actually means something.
Yeah. It was done in like the 90s or whatever to combat all like
Oh,
the
yeah.
crap peripherals coming out for
Yeah.
other stuff. Yeah.
Just to warn our viewers that if you're a retro gamer and you're trying to buy cartridges off of eBay, be very careful. There's so many cartridges right now that are just fakes with 3D printing and fake labels on them. Like you might be buying a Mega Man X2 copy and it's not a Mega Man X2 copy. It's just someone made with a 3D printer and put a ROM in it. It's not authentic.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay. So I also read that they were like also like marketing with stuff, like
Oh yeah. Okay.
kind of like pushing like, oh, Mario's on our front page and stuff like that. Like,
Oh man.
Okay.
yeah, things like that.
It's like no matter how you slice it, you really can't justify the business practices of these two sites.
What
Right,
if-
of course.
So it's like very
No.
well deserved. Yeah.
What if the owner of the site he owned all of those games?
Well,
That's
well,
right.
he probably wouldn't
Well,
have to
that's
be
so-
the owner of the site then.
Pirating all.
He
of
would
his
be at a
stuff.
beach sucking down umbrella during somewhere,
Yeah, really.
Not anymore.
Oh no, but he would have been. He would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have like finding cartridges, relating cartridges. Matt, you found a Majora's Mask cartridge yesterday.
Yes, I was helping a friend clear out a room, and my favorite series of video games is The Legend of Zelda, hands down. And I do want to collect every single game, the hard copies of each game, and play through them and 100% them. I found the gold version of Majora's Mask yesterday.
I have that
at my friend's
one.
house when I was helping clear out his room. So
Nice.
Yeah.
awesome,
I found that one a couple years ago out of Goodwill. I got it for like $5.
Nice.
nice.
Pretty good deal.
Okay.
I've been collecting GBA games. Like I've been slowly,
Oh
going
yeah,
to shops, going to your local swap meet around here where people sell games and stuff. I've been looking for old GBA games.
Yeah.
I want to build that little, small library of that.
Mhm.
I was pretty fond of the GPA, so just having the games handy, it's just fun, to play them again.
Pokemon games on Game Boy Advance were great.
Yeah.
I just found my like Final Fight 1 for GBA. Yeah,
Yeah.
Final Fight. I don't know why. I really like that game. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that about does it for my news story. Nintendo.
I mean, yeah.
Suing the asses of some
Justified.
people. Yeah. Just.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, we're suing you. Sorry.
I didn't know they were selling it. Like for that changed.
Yeah, that changes perspective.
Yeah.
Context is important to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. It's like
Because
the
a lot of
big
these
news-
places
Context is
say,
important.
yeah, because a lot of these places say like, well, we're trying to preserve
Yeah.
some of these games. Some of these
Yeah.
games you can't find them anymore. That's a more somewhat gray area, but it's more understandable. But hey, we have these ROMs, pay for them, and you got access to all of it. It's not our stuff though.
Mhm.
That's clearly in violation of so many laws.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, so I think that about wraps it up for gaming news. And so for those of you who are still a little bit new to the podcast or don't know about our slight change in format, the cultureofgaming.com main site is getting reformatted very, very soon. Okay, and one thing that we are going to start dipping our toes into is some movie news and anime news a little bit. The movie news will at least be kept to a little bit more relevant topics that kind of overlap with the gamers audience. This is some blanket statements, but I have demographics to prove it. So it's like MCU stuff, DCU stuff, etc. It's like video game related movies, etc., etc. So stuff that the overlap is there and people would be interested in hearing also. And then anime news, and there's not as much of an overlap. There's not as much of like a specific genre overlap there. So that section will be a little bit more generalized as far as I understand, but we're still finalizing. Anyway, to sort of like go with this transition also and incorporate the parts of the future site into this now, on the podcast each week, after the gaming news, we bring up movie and anime news. So, movie news for this week. The Metal Gear Solid movie director shares concept art from the movie. I encourage everyone to go check it out. These are some really beautiful pieces, very reminiscent of the games that like they're taking after from, and kind of gives you an idea of where the movie might be going. Whatnot. And this does kind of accompany the news that Gray Fox will be in the movie.
Right.
I only saw one piece. It looked like a Metal Gear Solid 4
Okay.
piece.
Yeah.
Are they
They have like a range of things from a range of games in there.
are they trying to make this like all in one movie, that whole series?
I
Don't know.
They might be trying to go for like, what is it, the movie Cloud Atlas, where there's like 5 storylines in one.
Yeah.
Mm.
They might be trying to do that.
I don't think they could like
Sounds
fit all that
Terrible.
into a movie.
They
though.
should not do that.
Yeah.
That was just one of the movies.
Okay.
Yeah. I know, but I'm just thinking like out loud, like that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
They should just pick one. And do
I
that.
think they're just some of the images just might be flashbacks. Some of them might be
Oh,
other
sure.
things like that. Like there's one of the iconic scene where Snake fights the boss, and
Okay.
it's like you could see that as a
Yeah.
flashback scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that art is also beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My theory and speculation in it is like the Metal Gear movie will basically be a giant flashback movie with Snake basically like on his deathbed, just kind of recounting everything. Because like that's the only thing I think of that would explain the range of time displayed by all the concept art and everything.
Sure.
Because
That's
like
true.
Andrew mentioned Metal Gear Solid 4, which is canonically like the latest game in the series. Or
Yeah.
it's like the latest time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I'm
there's
curious,
Metal Gear
like-
Solid 3, which is the earliest.
I'm curious. If you wanted to make a Metal Gear Solid movie based on one of the games, let's say they're going to tell the story of one of the games,
Mhm.
which game would you want them to tell?
I
As
think,
much as I think 3 has the best story,
Mhm.
I think 1.
Okay.
are you
It's
talking
a
about,
shout-out.
are you saying Metal Gear Solid 1 or Metal Gear 1?
Metal Gear Solid 1.
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just really love the story in 3.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of movie elements there you can transfer really well into a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of agree. It's like I do think that 3 would it's like I think 3 would translate probably the best to a movie. I would really
Mhm.
like to see. I'm pretty sure it was 2 actually, to be honest.
Mhm.
2 is the one where it's like the opening level is like you're on the raining boat or whatever, right?
You're on
Two
the
was
what?
on the
Metal Gear Solid 2.
oil rig, right?
Yeah, it's like it's raining,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking too, also because of Raiden. Like I know people have such revisionist history with this. We hated Raiden. We love Raiden now.
Yeah.
Like, but whatever. The
Oh,
point
God, I
is,
forgot.
yeah, exactly. But the point is, Metal Gear Solid 2 for me at least seems like a good entry point because you have this new character who could
Mhm.
explain to the audience who Snake is, who are these people are,
Yeah.
because those are new characters you can follow, and then the follow-up movie could be Snake's story.
Yeah.
And as much as I love 5, that'd be incredibly difficult.
Oh
Wow.
god,
There's just so much that happens in
stuff.
5. Like you would need Lord of the Rings level
Yeah.
like movie.
I think you
Like-
could also tell like one of the original Metal Gear in like a solid straight action because it's pretty straightforward
It is, yeah.
compared to like the other ones.
Uh-huh.
Just
Where it's
make
like,
it an action look. Yeah.
yeah, where Snake is infiltrating and it's his old mentor and stuff like that, and that would be pretty straightforward. And I think that would work well, but they
But
probably
there's
wouldn't do
nothing
that at
really
all.
like discernible in Metal Gear 1 from like a
Yeah.
regular action movie though, Like
Well, yeah, exactly. But what do you think? I mean, it's Hollywood. They're gonna,
yeah.
I think my problem with the Metal Gear movies is that, let's say for Metal Gear Solid 3, right? You have 5-6 villains, prominent villains in the game, right?
Mhm.
Sure.
You're gonna have to cut those down to maybe 2,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're gonna have a Scott Pilgrim versus the World situation where you try to stuff in all the ex-boyfriends and almost half of the roster didn't get enough screen time. And
Yeah.
it makes for a weaker story movie-wise, but makes for a great story graphic novel-wise.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that was a good movie.
Yeah, I think so.
I liked it.
Pilgrim, given credit, it did cut a lot of stuff out and changed
Yeah.
quite a bit. It was still a solid story, just the way that it was. I'd say a more comparable thing would be the second Amazing Spider-Man movie with the
Right, with Jamie Foxx and
they had like 6
okay.
villains in that, which
Did
was
they
like
really?
Yeah,
They
Well,
had
like-
three. They had
Oh, yeah.
Electro, they had Green Goblin, and they had Rhino.
Rhino.
Rhino had such a
but
very
Rhino
minor
just was
part.
like at the
Yeah.
end. I
But like
thought.
it's like that where it's hard to build a villain when you have multiple like that.
That's true.
Yeah. It's very noticeable when a movie, tries to
Yeah.
change its story to introduce new elements for the next movie. You need to have a balance of, hey, here's some stuff for the next movie,
Yeah,
but let's
it-
have a solid story on top of it.
It would be hard adapting the four main villains, the boss, Ocelot, all that in there. That's a juggle.
Yeah.
Without
the
making
Fury,
multiple
the
movies.
End.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
How
that
do
would
you s-
ideally be a trilogy.
How do you explain the sorrow to audiences? Like, why is
Right,
Snake
exactly.
going through this river and there's ghosts?
It's like
You know?
what?
The ghost,
Yeah, it's
dude.
like what? Yeah.
That made me
You could argue that the ghost could be mumbling stuff as they walk by or grab Snake or something.
Right.
yeah,
That makes me think that 4 might be the best one because 4 didn't really it had like one central bad guy. I want to say,
4 might
No.
as well have been a movie anyway.
Yeah.
like
4
there
might as
wasn't.
well have been a movie.
They
anyway.
didn't have all.
They had
of-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but they didn't have those like 4 traditional like, oh, you go up against this boss, this boss, this boss.
Right.
Yeah.
The big old stuff going on. Like it's pretty political and whatnot. So.
Right.
What
I
And
if,
think
with this,
what if
and with this climate, you can make a good political espionage movie.
What if we're kind of approaching this from the wrong way? Like maybe this will be like Ocelot recounting stories of the snake or something like
Right.
that. Because
Hey, Ocelot's sick, man. I'd dig down with that.
yeah, it's like I'd be down with that
Yeah.
too. Or it's like maybe it's like okay, mild spoilers. Mild Metal Gear Solid 4 spoilers. It's like Ocelot giving a big debrief of stuff or whatever.
Sure.
Because like I think he appears and it's like sees enough things. It's like he's seen a lot of the more important events and whatnot. So
I mean, he's like almost like he's like a main character as much as Snake is. So
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. It's like in a lot of ways, Metal Gear is more about Ocelot than it is.
I was
about,
gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
in like literally every game, but
He's in every-
it's technically different
And-
snakes.
Except for 5. He's not. Is he in 5?
Yeah, he's in.
Oh yeah,
five.
he's in 5.
Yeah, he's in
five.
5.
But I know, like, the director has to be careful of how true to the game he wants to be.
Yeah.
Because some elements just don't work. Like with the World of Warcraft movie, like
Yeah.
that movie was so true to the game, but in a lot of ways that also hindered it. In a lot of ways, you
Yeah,
gotta
There was a
change
lot
stuff.
of reference that was just
Exactly.
like exclusively to the people who knew it.
Exactly. Like you cannot hide and display the lolly
Because-
lay low to
You don't
people.
want a guy
What-
shooting bees
that
at
should
you?
never be
No
said in
bee
a
shooting?
movie.
Yeah.
I want some bee shooting.
Oh yes, bee shooting is great.
Because I
Um,
remember watching the movie World of Warcraft movie with Sailor, and he was like geeking about like all the little details,
Yeah,
like even the
references,
like the little reference. I'm just sitting like, what?
It's like what?
Exactly,
It's like
yeah.
dude, that orc just hit that dude. What are you talking about? What? No.
No,
Even
that's
at,
like,
like-
and that's Thrall, and that's this guy, and that's that spell, and there's this thing. Like, and the other guy's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't play the game.
Yeah.
It's like
know-
he
I
was geeking about like
Yeah.
I remember there's a funny thing that was it the Murloc under the bridge.
Yes. Yes.
Like, you were like you were losing it right then. I'm just like, what's this like? I don't get it.
Yeah.
There was
like,
a
ignore
meme.
me.
Yeah, there was like a meme before the movie came out that was like, I don't care what happens to the movie, we need the Murloc sound in the movie at some point,
Okay.
and we'll like it no matter what type thing. And it's like, yeah, they did it, and it's like his
Yeah.
amazing bridge or whatever. And it's like I just lost it when I heard it, and it's
Nice.
like, oh my god, they actually did it. And I feel like
Yeah.
the same thing's gonna happen to Metal Gear movie. It's like we need to hear the ding, the
Right.
exclamation point
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
noise at some point in the
Either
movie
the-
for people to like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need Snake to run around and hide for a minute, for 99 seconds, until everyone goes back.
That could actually be a really cool scene if done right.
Exactly. It has to be done right. It can't just be
Yeah.
added in there just to appease the
Right.
fans of the
Like
series.
you could add it like in theory you could add it with like actual attention and whatnot. Like he's getting close to him and alarm trips, and you have to like make sure you hide for the quote 99 seconds while everybody clears the area and
Right.
whatnot.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
And how he gets to each different room and whatnot and avoids every single one of them.
Mhm.
here's a fun little directing the point. Here's a fun little thing. All right, Snake is being infiltrated. They know he's in the base. They're looking room to room looking for him. They enter the mess hall. They can't find him. The camera's panning everywhere, and he's hiding in a box of oranges. You know what I'm saying? Like, video game reference to it works because
Yeah.
it makes sense.
It's
Why-
practical, yeah.
exactly, it's practical, but
I
it could
mean,
be
I
cringy,
mean,
though.
art. Yeah,
There are
it'd be-
so many like
it'd be
campy
weird, but-
things you can throw into this movie. There really are.
You gotta remember because Kojima, when he made these games, he watched what's it called Escape from LA.
I was just gonna say, let's just watch Escape from New York.
They're really
Right.
campy movies.
Perfect
They
Metal
are
Gear game
camp.
movie.
You have a guy with a what's called an eye patch throwing bolos at characters. Like it's a campy movie,
Well, yeah,
and that's how
LA
he built these games. You know?
LA got a little crazy.
Yeah.
And New York is.
talk about LA.
I like Escape from LA. Fine. It's one
I
of my-
both. You know, they
I-
have their times. You know, they're campy. A lot of 80 movies were at that time. You know.
Yeah. All right. So, any other speculation about the Metal Gear movie? The art is absolutely beautiful, and
Oh,
Yeah. Very
it's,
I-
beautiful,
My speculation is that it will never happen.
oh, okay,
but
nice.
My
Like-
speculation, it will take as long as it is with Death Stranding.
Comes out first, Metal Gear movie or Death Stranding.
my speculation is like how Andrew said. I don't think it's gonna happen. But if someone makes a fan film like the Nathan Drake fan film, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was more. I feel like that was more than fan film. That was like, hey,
Was it like
people should pay money to me so we can make this movie.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm sorry. What
'Cause
film
I
are you
think-
talking about?
The Nathan
Oh.
Fillion one.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yep.
I don't know if you watched the Uncharted Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
He like was in a short
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
fan film, even though he like was a producer on it.
Right.
So yeah.
you could be a fan of your own work?
Right. Exactly.
Well, yeah, or it's not his own work. It's Uncharted stuff he was taking, but people
Right.
are like so obsessed with him being Nathan Drake, and maybe he's a fan. I don't really know,
I
but
think he said he is, but
yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's-
mean, I'm sure he was a big enough fan to do this.
yeah.
But yeah, it's wild that like people calling it a fan film like dude, that had some money behind it for sure.
Yes, it did. Yes, it
Yeah.
did. All right.
But I don't.
Oh,
I
what's up?
don't think we're still gonna. I'm saying we still haven't bucked that trend of a good video game movie yet. You know, all of them have been.
I think Warcraft
pretty
was the
terrible.
closest. I
The-
think
exactly,
Warcraft was the
Warcraft
closest.
has been the closest. Technically, box office wise, wasn't Rampage the best rated one so
Oh
far?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
So
what
that's
about
it.
Tomb Raider? That came out.
I don't think it did well.
I don't-
I think Rampage still technically scored higher on like Rotten Tomatoes.
Right, but that's so okay. I've heard that.
I mean, in
Have
technical
you just seen that
terms.
movie?
No. I
No,
I heard at one point there's like a Rampage cabinet in that movie, and like that's where the like bad lady got the idea or some shit like that.
haven't. Oh, okay.
I don't know. I haven't seen it
I
personally.
haven't seen it either.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just. Yeah.
she
Oh,
just
that's
like
right.
what should we do to take over the world? Just looks to the Rampage cabinet.
That's right. They
big
did do
knock.
like a new Tomb Raider movie also.
Yeah, the Tomb Raider movie came out I think this year. Maybe
They're
more.
making a second one, aren't they?
Okay.
The hot.
I don't know about that.
I heard it was all right. Like, I heard
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
like, if
I
you're
heard it was
if,
fine.
it's like, you know, if you really want to go to the movies one night and there's not really a lot to see, go see it type thing. But yeah.
Yeah. Silent Hill, that was all right.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a Silent Hill movie. Okay.
That was all right, I
Sorry.
think.
Yeah.
Those movies are good.
Mortal Kombat,
Oh God.
I like that
Oh.
movie.
Do you
Street Fighter,
really?
I love that movie. I read an
Oh.
article about the Street Fighter movie that'll blow your mind. It's all about Jean-Claude Van Damme and cocaine. It's fantastic.
Oh God.
Is it
I
on
don't know.
COG?
No. I read
Okay.
it somewhere else, and it was
Okay.
like it was an interview with some of the people. It was bonkers. It was like he would just lock himself in his trailer and do a bunch of blow, and then, oh man,
That's the
I
way to live
just-
your life, man. Yeah. What's up, Kevin?
dude.
I just looked it up right now. The highest grossing movie, according to IMDb.com, is the 2001 Laura Croft movie with Angelina Jolie.
Oh, that's so bad.
That's still the highest grossing
Really?
movie.
That's
pretty
Yes.
bad. Yeah,
That's
it's like
grossing.
it's like to be
Yeah.
fair, it's like Warcraft barely broke even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barely.
I
They
mean,
made
you-
enough for a sequel.
Second
wanna-
highest is Angry Birds the movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I
God,
forgot
that
about it.
exists.
that was
Third-
probably fine.
Honest,
That was
Third
probably fine.
highest. Sorry.
not as bad as you think.
Yeah, I could see that being okay because there's
Right.
there's no characters there. You
It's
can
like
just do whatever.
it's a
whatever you
kids
want.
movie,
No, the-
you know. It's like it's a fun
Yeah.
kids movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a basic plot and whatnot, but they still managed to make it funny.
Okay.
There's the one scene where the great eagle is relieving himself into the lake
Yeah.
they were just swimming in and
Okay.
whatnot. And
I saw that scene.
the scene runs to the point where it's funny, it stops being funny, then it goes back to being just absolutely hilarious. Like it just
Bonkers.
manages to do that well enough.
So it's like
Sure.
the knee scene from Family Guy, or whatever.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Kind of
okay.
like that, yeah.
Okay.
Except
We all know.
there's more dynamic too, because you actually get to see how the characters react to learning what he does to that
Sure.
pawn.
sure.
Okay. All right.
It is surprisingly good.
Okay.
There's that Ready Player One. If you guys really want all video
Does
games,
that really count as a? It's like that was
It technically
as a
it
video game
does.
movie. Like, is
It's
there
not a video game.
there like a Ready Player One game I can play?
No.
probably. I bet you there is a phone
It just has
game.
references,
bet you.
but
It's like a really
Yeah.
garbage NES game, right? Just
Oh,
like-
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well-
I read that book, and
Yeah.
oh boy.
Warcraft is the 13th highest grossing video game movie.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I think that about wraps it up for movie news. Moving right along, our anime news topic. Kyoto Animation, who did some very notable series like K-On!, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Violet Evergarden, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Full Metal Panic, a couple other notable ones, but I figured most people would probably at least name recognition some of those. Has
Yeah.
announced their latest project is going to be an anime adaptation of 20 Saiki Denki Mokoroku, which translates to 20th Century Electricity Catalog. That novel's an anime adaptation. And basic plot synopsis, guy and girl of anime age, so high school. It's like in 1904 or 1907, so it's like very early 20th century. And it's basically,
Yeah.
The girl is very traditional and everything. She's into a lot of the Shinto prayers and whatnot, etc., etc. And then she meets this guy who's like super duper into all the new up and coming like technology and like electricity coming to the town, innovating the town, etc., etc. So it's trying to like the dynamic between them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm personally looking forward to it. Honestly, based on
Sounds interesting. Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of Haruhi, massive fan of Dragon Maid.
I'm a massive fan of Full Metal Panic.
Okay.
Like, massive fan. I
What's-
hate how they ended that series because it ends in a cliffhanger. We haven't had a full season yet for like 5-6 years now.
What's it about?
Yeah.
As somebody who hasn't seen that one, what's it about?
Oh, Full Metal Panic?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a gun. It's a mech show.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's people who have like some kind of super cybernetic genes. I honestly forgot. It's been so long since I've seen it, but there's these people who are cybernetic gods pretty much, and they're trying to weaponize them. And there you go. Then he's trying to protect the main girl of the anime series.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Andrew,
I mean-
any of these names ring any sort of bell for you? No. Okay.
No, not the
All
big
right.
anime guy here.
Okay.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of the Haruhi one. That one was huge and like
Oh yeah.
2006,
2000
2008.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. There's technically a religion behind it.
That's
Oh, man.
weird.
There is
I
a
don't like
legitimate
that.
religion behind. Yeah, it's called
Really?
I
Haruhiism.
don't know.
Yeah,
Wow.
Ari,
None of that.
it's legitimately recognized
Got it.
too.
gotta
fan.
worship your god somehow.
Yeah, it
Not a
is
fan.
legitimately recognized. Okay. Free? You ever hear of Free? No. Okay.
Is that the diving one?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard
They,
of
they
it.
did that one too. Sadly.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Look, you
At
can make
the-
an anime out of any sport, and it'll be great.
At the
Because
so
it's
it's
anime.
like-
Anime out of cooking food.
Yep. Hey, I watched that anime. It's great. I'm writing all these recipes down.
Talking about Food Wars?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
some of this, it's like I watched a few episodes in of it, and it's like some of the stuff is like I'm gonna cook this one day. This sounds good,
Oh, yeah?
I don't encourage anyone to go watch Food Wars though.
Yeah, it's very, very
very
sexually suggestive.
It's very bad.
Oh.
It's very bad.
Erotic.
Yeah. So at the very least, Kyo Anime has like demonstrated in all their repertoire of stuff that they excel at a lot of different visual styles.
Right.
Like Kobayashi's Dragon Maid had a very unique visual style, and then Violet Evergarden had a very unique visual style also. But they are basically polar opposites of each other. Violet Evergarden tried to go for a lot more of the like prettier shader colors type thing and everything, and it's a very like lifelike realism type thing, so to speak, or it's like try to be more realistic. And it's basically, to relate it back to games, it's basically like Wind Waker versus like Twilight Princess sort of thing.
Right.
or
Yeah,
those two
I'd
different
say that's a
styles.
good comparison.
Or it's like Dragon Maid had more of the Wind Waker type thing. It was very cartoonish, watercolory, and whatnot. But then Violet Evergarden was very real. It was very enhanced.
That's good. I like it when they differentiate styles because
Yeah.
you can tell when an anime is from a certain company based on the style sometimes. Like
Yeah.
Trigger.
Yeah, Trigger.
yeah, Trigger. I think what's the studio called? Gainax, the one that made Kill la Kill, Gurren Lagann,
Trigger.
Code Geass.
That's
Trigger
Oh,
is
it's Trigger.
Trigger.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you could tell, like that's a Trigger, anime. Like,
Yeah.
Studio Ghibli, like a lot of
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
look like they can exist in the same universe if they wanted to.
Whatever
Yeah.
studio Makoto Shinkai is with, the dude who did like Your Name, 5 centimeters a second, whatever studio that is, you can always tell.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then based on
this-
the visual and like poster they released for it, it looks like it'll be more in the vein of Violet Evergarden for visuals.
that makes sense because it's more of a realistic type show.
Yeah. Are you telling me dragons aren't realistic?
Why, yes.
What are you trying to
Yes,
say?
I am.
What are you trying to say? Okay. All right. So yeah, what's up?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying I haven't seen a good dragon anime yet. Like, there was a terrible anime called Dragonaut Resonance, and it was a dragon mech anime, and I was like, oh god, all this is so cringeworthy. Like, really
Yeah,
bad.
really.
I could see how that would work, like try and work conceptually, but
Oh, and the
Very
dragons
hard.
are also girls when in their human forms, obviously, right?
course
It's
they are.
anime.
of course they are. Yeah, of course they are. Why wouldn't they be? All right.
This studio has a great track record of releasing good shows, if
Yeah.
not great shows. So I don't have any doubt they'll manage to succeed with this one.
Right.
It's like people have listened to this segment before, trying to know. It's like I do try and relate it to gaming or whatever. It's just like we talked about a Black Clover mobile game like a week or two
Right.
ago, right? But it's like this one is just like there are so many big names associated with the studio. Enough people would be interested in whatever nets they're putting out, type thing.
Yeah.
So it's like anyway. Let's go to something everyone to talk about now. Yeah. So this is part of the show where I tell you what games are releasing. Not really any notable things coming up. Search through like Metacritic and everything. This week's kind of dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mega Man X collection came out on Tuesday,
Yeah.
so if you guys haven't picked that up, pick up the first first collection, very solid.
Okay.
Second collection, I only recommend the second collection if you're really into the Mega Man X games. I know I am. I'm a huge Mega Man fan,
Yeah.
so I picked up. Obviously, I went for the bundle and I picked up both.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
This would usually be the segment for the next week, so like between now and the next podcast, or whatever. But yeah, that is a good point. It is so. Are these all like the platform-like-ish Mega Man games?
Yes.
Like
Mhm.
Okay.
Mega Man X, yes.
Okay, got it.
Super Nintendo, PlayStation,
Okay,
Okay.
those types of games.
and PS2, maybe even
Yes, PS2.
last one.
What was that?
The last two Mega Man X games, X7 and X8, they were on the PS2.
Oh, both. Okay.
It's a series that crossed 3 different console generations. You went from Super Nintendo, first PlayStation, PlayStation 2.
What was the
Okay.
Mega Man game on the GameCube? That was. I'm pretty
That
sure.
was Mega Man Battle Network.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
that,
it's like.
that wasn't good.
Okay, I'm sorry. I liked it. Like 5-year-old me liked it. 4-year-old me liked it.
Oh yeah. No, I mean it's always subjective, but like as a
Okay.
person who has played a wide variety of Mega Man games, like
yeah.
it's not. I'm not holding it up there with the rest of them.
That's fair. That's fair. Is
Is-
that part of the collection by chance or no? No.
No,
okay.
no.
Just the X. Okay.
Just the X.
Just the good games. Okay. Ooh, no.
they're not all great.
Okay.
Yeah.
X6 and X7 are the ones that are not great.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty solid. Out of 8, 2 of them not great, 6 of them good.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair
That's
enough.
not that bad. That's not that bad.
Yeah. Okay. You can do a Shuriken, Shuriken and a Hadouken in them. So it's
Yes,
cool,
yes,
man.
you can.
In the first couple.
Yeah. Appealing to all audiences, even the Street Fighter audience. I like it.
Mhm.
Good job, Mega Man.
They also added a new rookie mode. I forgot what the name of it. Sorry, but it's a new game mode, a new difficulty. You take half damage, falls don't kill you, and spikes don't kill you.
How do you get back up? Do you just teleport?
I have no idea. I haven't
Okay.
really. I'm waiting for my copy in the mail.
Okay.
But if you just want to get through them, because the original Mega Man games didn't have a story, the X definitely has a story that builds upon it each
Yeah.
iteration.
Okay.
So like if you were to want to play it for the story, even though it's kind of convoluted, but it's interesting. Like how can humans live with AIs and robots and all this other stuff?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Neat. All right. So we don't have any community discussion questions, which kind of depressing, and no one's like chimed in with anything anywhere. So luckily, there is a discussion topic that I want to bring up. Amazon.com is now offering interest-free, credit-free financing for computer parts.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
All right,
Ace.
so basically means if I ever want to go to Newegg or whatever, who also offers financing, make like $1,000 purchase of like computer parts or whatever,
Okay.
and say it's like, hey, you can do like a Newegg financing or whatever with, so it's like, it's
$20 a month or
yeah, it's like $20 a
whatever.
month or whatever, and it's like by doing this, you have to pay interest or whatever, which brings
Right.
up the grand total to
Mm-hmm.
be overall more in the end than what you would pay just by buying it bulk outright or whatever, and so it's like
Mhm.
that's interest.
So get your product now, pay for it as you go.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
alright,
making car payments.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Basically.
Yes.
That's not too bad.
So it's like
you know,
it's
great.
like very very small scale way of explaining it. If I were to make a $60 purchase spread out over 4 months or whatever,
Mhm.
it's that I should theoretically be only paying like $15 a month or whatever. If I were to choose financing with whoever I ordered the $60 thing would be, I would have to pay $20 for 4 months. So they end up
Right.
with $80 in the end. So
Yeah.
it's like whereas if I just bought outright, 60. Yeah. So okay.
I find it really fascinating. It's interest free.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
That's crazy.
the big part to me.
Yeah. That's
It's like they're really trying to compete with Newegg.
mhm.
Yeah. I wish I knew that when I bought my graphics card.
This is a
I don't
new
know.
thing.
I wish it was happening when
Yeah.
I bought my graphics card a couple of months ago.
Okay.
Not that my
Amazon
graphics
is
card
competing
was
with everything.
super.
Yeah, this
know.
is
But yet they're definitely trying to push themselves there.
yeah,
That's
this
neat.
is-
Oh, is this work for RAM?
I think so.
Oh,
I mean, computer
God.
parts, it should work for everything.
Yeah, I need some
Oh,
new
God.
RAM, buddy.
Okay.
Need some RAM. Sick, actually. It's pretty cool.
I need more RAM.
The
too.
article that I read about it had a screenshot. It didn't look stellar, like in terms of the price per month or whatever. Like,
But it's better. I mean,
yeah, it was more of those things where it's like if you really can't afford the upfront cost, but like you absolutely need it now type thing, do it.
Right.
It wasn't. It's like to me the pricing structure didn't seem like something that they would really want to necessarily encourage people to
Right.
do. But it teach their
There's
own,
no-
you know.
if there's no interest and like
yeah, that's
don't
the
really
big catch.
see
Yeah.
the too much of a downside if you're just like, hey, look, I don't want to pay all this money right now, but I split it in even 2 payments.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever.
You
I'd
know,
do that. I'd
one-
rather do that probably.
Yeah, it's like 150 is much easier to swallow than
Yeah.
300.
That's
Right.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Like, I know for, I don't know if you guys know the Hot Toys. How you guys know those toys? They're like little realistic figurines for like Iron Man, all that stuff, right? These
Yeah.
things range anywhere from $200 to $300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on their website, they finance it where like, hey, you can make 3 smaller payments and you can get your statue. You know, like I just like the option because sometimes it is hard to gather a massive amount of money when you just based on your budget and your monthly bills and all that stuff. It could be hard to save that money. So it's just like the option of being able to buy it on through their financing, pay it off slowly, and then and be fine with it. And no interest. That sounds pretty good to me.
Cool.
I'm trying to find like an example here, like on Amazon right now that I can show to
Mhm.
you guys.
Oh,
We'll
I
probably
see.
have to wait for like next week.
Maybe.
They just announced it, or
Well, I mean, it's like people were showing like live pages on, so I assume it's already
Oh.
a thing right now, but I could be wrong.
Hmm.
Yeah.
that's all right.
Right.
I'm sure some of those people who are on Twitter and stuff will be pushing those big deals soon.
So
Yeah.
so Amazon's cornered the book market with their Kindle, the Amazon Fires, and they cornered the video game market by offering Prime members 20% off on any new video games if you pre-order them. And they got Comixology for all the comic books. What's next? Now we have computer parts. What else?
I
are
would
they
say
gonna go
food,
after?
but Amazon owns Whole Food now.
yeah, they have
Yeah.
Whole Foods.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they necessarily corner the market because like Barnes and Noble is still a super popular thing.
Really, because I only know one Barnes and Noble, and I remember like maybe
I know
2
like
years
several
ago.
Barnes and Nobles where I live.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they're still alive and well over here.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
in Arizona.
they're all dead over here. Like on Southern California, they are probably 1 or 2 per 100 miles.
Wow.
Interesting. I really don't ever think it's like physical butts.
They'll never go out of style.
Yeah.
I have so many books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like buying physical books. It just feels better. I don't
It's nice having a first edition.
know.
Oh, okay. So right now, this program with Amazon is invite only.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
That
like they invite you
explains
to the
it.
program. Yeah.
sure. All right,
Okay.
fair enough.
Interesting. So
Cool.
hopefully it'll expand out. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
imagine it will.
Yeah.
It's like this is I don't know why this is so weird to me, honestly. Like the whole interest-free thing is just getting me a little bit.
For such a large business?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they want your money, man. Either way they can get it, right?
Yeah.
Well, you could say it's similar to MoviePass. Super
guess,
cheap.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, with the recent news, maybe it's not such a great example,
Yeah.
but it's that just the point, getting people in first, then change it later.
Yeah, I
Sure.
think, and I think another big part of it too is like Amazon is big enough that they can deal with. So it's like, say you're about to drop $3,000 on a PC
Right.
using all like
Yeah.
Amazon ordered components or whatever. Which nothing wrong with that. Some of their packaging is a little iffy, but whatever. It'll get there. It'll
Yeah.
make it there. It's just fine. They have a decent return policy anyway. So it's like if you were to like spread that out, I think Amazon can wait like 12 months for them to get $3,000 to make up the cost of it. Like I think they're big enough that they can sink the cost for 12 months of $3,000. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's necessarily the issue.
Yeah.
It's-
They offer
weird.
financing for a lot of their Amazon Fire tablets. So if
Yeah.
you can't afford the upfront cost, you can have a monthly payment plan with no
Sure.
interest.
That's cool.
Just be careful when going into debt, kids. That is all.
Yeah. Oh, of
Don't do
course.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
All right. So our giveaway is postponed until next week when Mr. Kangaroo gets back from vacation.
Oh, that's where he's been.
Yeah. And then let's see, really quick. What have you guys been playing this past week, Andrew? What you got?
I have been playing, like I said, Fortnite a little bit, and I've been grinding up some Tekken 7.
Yeah, you gonna
Uh,
stomp some kids at Evo.
I'm going to Evo next week. I won't be here on the podcast, so unless you guys want to hit me up from my hotel / on the
Got
show
decent
floor,
internet.
And we'll let you
we'll
enjoy
see.
it. We'll let you
Yeah,
enjoy
we'll
it.
see what's going on. But yeah, a lot of Tekken 7. I went to my first local.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to Esports Arena here in Oakland.
Yeah.
Nice.
How'd it go?
It didn't go great for me.
Oh.
I got bodied, but
Caught
It's
those
a-
hands.
It's about the experience. You gotta go.
yeah, it's really fun though. Everyone's there, super nice. After term's over, played some casuals, talked to some people, just having fun.
those-
Yeah, really cool.
Those fighting tournaments are definitely really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to Evo a lot. It's like my fifth or sixth one.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna play some games, get some fun interviews. I know some developers are gonna be there. Hopefully we can stuff. I have some good ideas. Hopefully I can get the footage I need.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I got some stupid ideas, so
Okay.
we'll see what happens. But yeah, just a lot of Tekken 7, a little bit of Fortnite on the Switch. So easy just to sit on my couch and
Yeah.
just like put it in front of my face and play it
Yeah.
that way.
Just grind it out. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
it.
Kevin.
I've been playing Paladins on the Switch. It just recently came out, the
Okay.
free-to-play version of it. Pretty good. It's not bad actually. I actually had counted it off as a Overwatch clone, but
Mhm.
no, it has its own unique
It has a
heroes.
style.
It has a style. Yeah, I kind of regret saying that it was an Overwatch clone. Like, no, it has its own thing going on. It's pretty fun. I've been playing more Destiny 2 in preparation for the Forsaken expansion. They're about to launch an event soon next week,
Okay.
where you're able to get this armor that, as you level it up, it gradually evolves its look.
Oh,
So
that's
you
right.
start off with
Nothing.
but yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've been playing Monster Hunter, a little bit more Monster Hunter, and recently got Dragon Ball Fighters, and I've been playing that.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. Matt, how about yourself?
The usual CS:GO, Rainbow Six. I started playing Pokemon Go again
Oh,
'Cause I just
man.
wa-
Okay.
because it's been like 2 years since I played it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
It must
curious
be
how
super different.
it is actually quite different now compared to when there was the summer of hype for that game when it initially released was the height of when I played it.
2016,
Wow.
never forget.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they it was really basic then, whatnot. But now they have like full-fledged gyms. They have raid systems that
raid.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the raids are pretty cool.
Okay.
You have friends, you could trade with friends. That's actually really nice. When I downloaded, they just released what are called lucky Pokemon.
Okay.
So in the game you have stuff you need to acquire to be able to power up your Pokemon. If you trade your Pokemon, it has a chance of turning into a lucky Pokemon, which halves the amount of required materials to level it up.
Nice.
Just random.
It depends. There's a percentage chance for how long you've owned said Pokemon.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Although I did read somewhere that there was a chance that all 2016 Pokemon are lucky Pokemon if you trade them.
Okay.
Plus the IV stats get thrown around a little bit and whatnot.
Okay.
Give me those shiny Zapdoses.
There are shiny Pokemon,
Oh,
so
man,
that is
okay.
definitely a chance.
Yeah. Dunno. I don't know. I might put that back on my phone. Seems like a fun time now.
Matt, I want to ask you something. How much time do you usually dedicate, let's say, for one when you play Pokemon Go one day? Like, do you dedicate an hour to 2 hours?
I honestly don't dedicate that much time. It's more I do a lot of at work. I do a lot of like going back and forth. I work at a Home Depot.
Okay.
So I do a job that requires me running from one side to the other side of the store all day long. So it's more of like, yeah, I could easily rack up 5 kilometers then.
That's
Uh-huh.
That's not an issue. And it's like whenever I'm somewhere, I'll just open it. It's like, oh, there's Pokestop. I'll just do that real quick. I mean, if I really want to, I have a park just out back behind me
Mhm.
that has like a ton of Pokestops. It's a circular thing that's like 2 kilometers or whatnot. So
Oh.
I could go there and just grind for like an hour and a half.
What is
If I
that in
wanted to.
freedom units?
I say it in kilometers because that's what they do it in the game as,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
to be fair.
All right. I have been making my way through Octopath Traveler a bit,
Ooh.
and then
Been
yeah,
doing that as well, slowly, but I have.
Yeah. Okay. Did you end up with the Switch?
Me and Felicia got a Switch, yes.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, that's one of the games we got.
Nice. All right. Yeah, and then see normal Counter-Strike with Matt, of course. A little bit of Rainbow Six, not so much. He's been more into it than I have been. But let's see. I think the biggest change for me is I've been back on that StarCraft 2 grind
Ooh.
quite a bit. School year is starting back up again, which I know kind of doesn't make sense, but school classes for me are starting August 16th, and engineering frat parties, especially the Asian ones, if you go to them, there are probably some kids playing StarCraft there, and there's probably a little bit of money being thrown around.
Mm.
So yeah,
Get out of that grind.
yeah, I did it on that grind, so and stomp some
Quick
people,
buck.
stomp some people out. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, I think that about does it. Wraps it up for the show. Is there anything anyone wants to bring up to the table right now? Something they wanted to say all show or no?
No, like I was saying, I'll be at Evo next week, so not next week, but keep an eye out. There should be some fun interviews. Hopefully, see who's all there when who I can get in touch with. But yeah, so hopefully there should be some good video content. So check out that YouTube page.
Yeah. All right, which is, if you just search on YouTube, Culture of Gaming, you'll find us. We don't have a neat custom URL yet. We need 100 subscribers. So if you want to go check out Andrew's White Whaling series and get us up to that 100 subscriber mark, we can just give you the neat and cool custom URL. We can just say youtube.com/Culture of Gaming instead of go to youtube.com, type in the search bar Culture of Gaming. We're like the first or second entry that pops up. Yeah. Do you see how much easier that is to say? Anyway. All right, so, yeah, what's up, Kevin?
I was just saying, remind people that my reviews should be live soon, or hopefully by tomorrow, at culturegaming.com for Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop, which is a management sim game that I reviewed on the PS4. So look forward to that.
Without giving away too much, are you allowed to talk about it?
Yeah.
Just a quick, how was it? Did you
What
like
the
it?
hell is it first?
Yeah,
what the
is
hell
it?
is it first?
Do you remember Simpsons Tap on the phone?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and
Is
then
it fun?
yeah.
It has moments. It's solid. You know.
I actually did see that on my Switch, and I looked at that. What is it?
It's like, what?
'Cause I know you were talking about it a little bit in the chat.
Yeah, it's solid, but I wouldn't dedicate a lot of time to it.
Perfect.
All right. So, yeah, look forward to that review. Probably dropping later today or maybe early tomorrow. Depends on.
Don't forget, we also have a dedicated Facebook group.
Yes,
All right.
this podcast specifically does. I
Yep.
plugged that at the beginning, didn't I? No.
Yes.
Okay.
But
okay,
it's the
no.
end now, so we have
Yeah.
to plug it.
Okay, yeah. This podcast specifically does have the Facebook group, and then, yeah, Twitter, CSG.net, all that fun stuff. Go replay, like, the first minute and a half of the show. Yeah, so we will be back, or at least I will be back next week. Same bad time, same bad place. Andrew, have fun at Evo. We look
Oh,
forward.
I will.
Yeah.
See you.